Hello again, dreamer. Welcome back to Soft Thoughts. Take a slow breath. Let the noise soften. And allow yourself to be here. Tonight, I want to talk about something many people carry quietly. What if you've been carrying guilt that was never yours? Sometimes guilt doesn't come from what you did. Sometimes it comes from what you were told was your fault. Maybe you grew up in a place where keeping the peace mattered more than being understood, where apologizing was easier than explaining, where taking the blame helped the moment pass faster. So you learned something very early. If something feels wrong, maybe it's because of you. If someone is upset, maybe you caused it. If a relationship becomes tense, maybe you should have done something differently. And over time, that belief settles quietly inside you. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to make you pause before speaking. Just enough to make you question your reactions. Just enough to make you carry responsibility for emotions that were never yours to manage. You start replaying conversations in your mind, wondering if you said the wrong thing, if you asked for too much, if you should have been more patient, more understanding, more quiet. But sometimes the truth is simpler than the guilt you've been holding. Sometimes people project their frustration outward. Sometimes someone else's pain spills over. Sometimes conflict happens because two people are human, not because one person is wrong. And yet, many sensitive and thoughtful people become the ones who absorb that weight. They take responsibility for the atmosphere in the room, for the comfort of others, for the emotional balance of relationships. It can look like kindness. It can look like maturity. But inside, it often feels like pressure. Because when everything becomes your responsibility, even things outside your control begin to feel like your fault. And that kind of guilt is exhausting. Not because you did something terrible, but because you're constantly trying to correct things that were never yours to fix. So tonight, it might help to ask yourself a gentle question. When did this guilt begin? Was it really about something you did? Or something you were made to feel? Because sometimes the guilt we carry started as someone else's discomfort, someone else's anger, someone else's expectations. And instead of holding it themselves, it slowly found its way into your hands. But guilt is not always truth. Sometimes it's just a story that stayed too long. A story that says you should have been better, quieter, easier, and stronger. When in reality, you were simply human. You had needs. You had feelings. You had moments when you didn't know what the right answer was. Just like everyone else. And being human has never been something you needed to apologize for. Sleep well, dreamer. You don't have to carry what was never yours.